This is music, and this is Once Again. Welcome to another haul/update video. In this video, I will show you a mixed bag of CDs and vinyl that I picked up, some in the wild and some online. So I bought some stuff directly from Dying Victims Productions. I bought some things from Odense City Music, also known as WeMusic. I bought some stuff at Sound, and I bought some stuff from Accord. So let's get started. Let's start with the CDs, and I gotta start out with a disclaimer. I have nothing against Babymetal. I always feel like I have to start in any conversation about Babymetal with that kind of disclaimer, because most of the kidsiness that I have interacted with start out being kind of preemptively passive aggressive until they realize I actually don't have any problems with Babymetal and we have a constructive conversation going. And one thing that the kidsiness often do is they recommend that I check out the live versions of the Babymetal songs that I like, and I obviously haven't heard the entire catalog of Babymetal songs. From what I've heard, I like maybe 2/3 of those songs. The songs I tend to not appreciate that much are the ones that draw a bit on modern types of metalcore, and gent, and even like sort of beyond rock music, like dubstep and things like that. And the songs I tend to like are the ones that draw on, say, progressive metal, on thrash metal, on death metal, on traditional heavy metal, and also the ones that incorporate Japanese scales and things like that into their melodies. But I decided to listen to the kitsune, and I picked this one up, Red Night Live at the Budokan from 2014 by Babymetal. This one has a lot of classics on it. Starts out with Megitsune, which is a good sign because that remains my favorite song by Babymetal. And it also has Gimme Chocolate and Babymetal Death and Headbanger, and you know, a lot of those classics. So I really look forward to checking out these live versions of these classic songs. Will I like them? Only the fuck's God knows. Up next, Anthrax, We've Come For You All. I don't know if this is a special edition or something like that, but it has this kind of fold out thing. Also, it seems that at some point Tony Stark was in Anthrax, and William Riker was in Anthrax too. Joking aside, I don't think I've heard this one, to be perfectly honest with you, but I've heard people say that it's one of the stronger John Bush fronted albums by Anthrax. So I look forward to checking this out. Will it top Sound of White Noise? Only the fuck's God knows. Kinky Boot Beast, Insect Psycho Tango, weird title. This is a local band from my birth town in Odense, and their style was, because this is 90s stuff, so their style was funk metal slash hard rock slash alternative rock slash alternative metal. And I remember that the crew of people I would hang out with, we kind of enjoyed this one quite a lot, especially a song called You, which is on here, so that's good. So yeah, let's see if I still like it. Only the fuck's God knows. And the last CD, Menace to Sobriety by Ugly Kid Joe. Never heard this one before. I do like their sort of classics, but I've never heard this one, and quite honestly, the cover art looks like very, very cheap and badly done photoshopping, and the entire kind of visual aspect of it looks like that. Maybe it's intended. Never heard this one before, so yeah, only the fuck's God knows if I will enjoy that one. Let's turn to the vinyl. Up first, per a recommendation by BVD Aussie Metalhead. I bought Rampage's Veil of Morn directly from Dying Victims Productions. Aussie thrash metal, as far as I understand. Look forward to checking that out for sure. And I also bought this one while I was at it. Sortilège L'Arme de Héros. French 80s heavy metal. I think it's from the 80s, but it's a reissue in any case. So that is going to be very interesting to check out. And now a second-hand thing, Deep Purple, The House of Blue Light. So from the 80s era, Deep Purple. They had some pretty decent albums, I think, in the 80s. But I actually don't think I've heard this one. This one was very cheap, so that's why I picked it up. Now some Danish death metal from the 90s, Detest Dorval. This is a reissue, though, from 2020. And this is very good stuff. I also picked up their most recent, I think it is, album, which is fantastic. So yeah, very, very good stuff. Danish death metal, authentic stuff from the 90s, from the FU, we're from Denmark era. Danish glam hard rock. They look glammy, but it's more hard rock, even leaning a bit towards traditional metal, this stuff. Fate, Scratch and Sniff, originally a Hank Sherman band, but he had left at this point. This was the first Fate album I ever heard, and I remember quite liking the songs, but thinking the guitar tone was weird. So let's see if I still think that. Only the dog gods know, I guess. Whatever. I'm pretty sure I'll still like the album, because I quite liked it back then. Up next, Harlow, and kind of glam, hard rock, a bit of just straight up heavy metal as well, female fronted. I've heard some snippets of some songs and I quite like them, so I grabbed this one. Up next, I guess back to the 90s, Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire. I like rap music, pre 1995 to be honest, but I do like rap music from the 80s and early 90s. I like rap as a form of singing, as it were, and obviously I like rock music, so this is a very good combination of rock and rap, and it's before nu metal, so there you go. I quite like this album. I do prefer the debut, but this one has some very good songs on it too. Staying in the 90s, but moving on to death metal, Breeding the Spawn by Suffocation. Kind of pioneers of brutal death metal without being slamming death metal. I mean, obviously the slam death metal style kind of is very inspired by Suffocation and their style of riffage, but I just feel like the slam death metal movement took it too far, in my opinion, with that, but whatever. Suffocation, brilliant stuff. I really like their brand of death metal. Now some crossover, Suicidal Tendencies, Join the Army, a classic from the crossover world. I really like their their early stuff, Suicidal Tendencies. So there you go. Decided to grab this one on vinyl. World War III. Don't know this at all. I just picked it up because I was curious. Doesn't look very warlike, to be honest, the cover art, but whatever. And now some soundtrack. I decided to grab this picture disc, Mandalorian. Do you remember mini discs, by the way? Anyways, the Mandalorian, some songs, or I guess scores from the Mandalorian, which is a series that I actually quite enjoy. So there you go. And up last, no, penultimate, more soundtrack, Miami Vice. And this is more like, to be honest, like a compilation. So with lots of you know, just 80s music on it. So that's why I grabbed it. This one was very cheap too. And now the last one, Electric Boogie Breakdance. Sadly, this one didn't come with the breakdance Electric Boogie instructional poster, but whatever. I had this one on cassette tape when I was a kid, and I mean, this one didn't cost me a whole lot of stuff. That's why I picked it up out of nostalgia too. The one thing that is really funny about this one is that you have classics like you have Street Dance, you have Buffalo Gals, you have, and that's kind of weird, you have Relax. That's apparently a breakdance song. Radio Gaga as well. Rocket, I get that for sure. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. So you have some songs that were kind of breakdance, Electric Boogie songs, and then you have just straight up 80s pop songs. And the extra kind of hilarious thing about this is that, yeah, you have these classics, but they're not performed by, as far as I remember, by the original artists. And I also can't understand why this person here looks like a mime. That's very weird. And why this person has makeup on, and this, it's all very weird. I think whoever put this together didn't really understand breakdance and Electric Boogie and that culture all that well. But there you go, mixed bag of things. Again, let's see if I like this one. Don't know. I'm pretty sure I'll still enjoy this one. I have a suspicion I will enjoy this one, and of course, the Fox God knows if I like this one. But yeah, by the way, thanks to all the kidsinners out there who have engaged in interactions with me and recommended songs. I really appreciate that. Thanks for watching.